This is a Walmart beach cruiser and I'm gonna huck it off this picnic table. In a moment, I will explain exactly why that happened, but this is an ongoing pattern of failed risk assessment on my part. I've been doing this for about 10 years and this keeps happening and I have to do better. That was dumb. The entire hook of this video was the art of the huck to flat. I was gonna show you how you could huck any bike to flat and come out unscathed and actually not even damage the bike. Not only did I get hurt, but I also damaged the bike. I twisted up the bars and everything. It's more or less fine, but that's besides the point. I failed miserably because I failed to remember that there was a coaster brake there. Actually, the first time I rolled up on the Huffy Cranbook, I realized that the coaster brake would be a problem. And so I said, okay, I'll just time the crank so that they're in the right position when I'm at the end. But then as I pulled up, I sort of kicked the pedal back to get my feet into position and that engaged the coaster brake. So while the nose was up in the air, the rear wheel stopped short and just made it slam down forwards and just sent me onto my face. It could have been so much worse. I'm just bleeding on the surface of my nose, not inside. I didn't get the cartilage or anything. I got extremely lucky there. That could have been a season ender. I was up till 11 p.m. pulling all these bikes out of the attic, pumping up the tires, lining them all up. And then this morning, I constructed this ramp over to the picnic table so we could have a nice clear shot of the technique of hucking a bike to flat, pulling up the front, dropping the rear wheel slightly to ease your fall. I was gonna explain it all and do it on everything, including my road bike, that slingshot bike, the cheapest electric mountain bike on Amazon. I was gonna huck them all to flat. And despite thinking of all of these things to make the video, I didn't think of the possibility of maybe engaging the coaster brake by accident and going face first on the very, very first bike that I was gonna take off the picnic table. And so as a YouTube video creator, I consistently think of everything except my own safety. The last time I got broke off was at Station Mountain Bike Park and there was a big flat airbag and a big lip and I was just like, I gotta hit that thing. Except I had never ridden a flat bag before. I just thought I was gonna land poof in the bag and then that was gonna be the end of it. But actually, I should have applied my brakes immediately. And so I took off the lip perfectly, landed perfectly flat, dead center, just how I had planned. And I failed to think about what might happen afterwards. And so by the time I realized I was rolling off the end of the airbag, I applied my brakes and then the front of the bike dipped in and I went over the handlebars and into a bunch of pot rock and rebar, dislocated my shoulder, and boom, 3 months off the bike, and actually it still hurts to this day. And then there was the airbag lip. So what happened there? Well, we obsessed over the radius of the lip, the distance, putting it behind these bushes so that we could put the airbag on the other side and make it all stealth. Thought of everything. And then Eric Porter told me, for the first run, just chill into it. Just chill. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna make the gap. Just go slow. If you case it, everything's gonna be okay. And I just completely forgot he said that. And I just went down the trail at like 40 miles an hour. And Eric Porter is a professional slopestyle athlete with 20 years experience. Those words just didn't carry weight with me for some reason. And I landed at the end of the airbag. That helmet was toast. And I could have gotten way more hurt, but somehow I'm still here talking to you, like, coherently. And then there was a time I broke my collarbone on Berm Creek on a little tiny double. But when I roll up to it, it felt really weird. Something just didn't feel right. And then I looked at the double, it looked small, and I said, well, it's small and so it should be fine. So instead of trusting my instincts, I should just try it. Don't try to correct for something that's wrong here. Just try it because it's gonna be okay because it looks small. And here I've gone through another helmet. This helmet's no good. I have to throw it away. I have to get a new one. That's what happens when you crash with a helmet. You know how many helmets I've been through this year? 2 so far. It was actually a commuter helmet and it wasn't even on video. It was out in Boone before that police shoot and I tried to drop in on a pretty sizable quarter pipe on my gravel bike because that was the bike I was on at the time. And I tried to get the seat to go down and it wouldn't. It was sort of seized and I said, I'll just try it with the seat up. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. I just went down like deep into the quarter pipe, went over the handlebars, smashed my shoulder, and cracked the side of my helmet. And I had actually planned to shoot the police video on my gravel bike, but the gravel bike was so screwed up that I couldn't even use it. Thank goodness I had brought my mountain bike because I had planned to ride Rocky Knob the next day. So here we are, another cracked helmet, another close call, and it is completely unsustainable. And it's not even like I'm trying to get views. When I fell in Boone, it was completely off camera. When I broke my ankle, which was like a 6-month injury, that was completely off camera. And actually, when I do a video like, okay, hucking bikes to flat, that doesn't always get views. It's usually explainers or stuff in the shop that does the best. But all of these situations have one thing in common. There's one thing that's consistent across all of them. It's that I'm in a completely predictable situation. I'm in a predictable situation. When I go mountain biking, I rarely fall and get hurt, and that's unpredictable. You're going down a trail, you don't know if somebody might be coming the other way, if there's gonna be something in your way. I'm in predictable situations. I set up this picnic table and dropped meticulously. I had complete control over the bikes. When I fell with the airbag, we could move it, we could plan, everything was completely predictable. Same in Boone, I was standing there at the top of a quarter pipe. Same on Berm Creek, I could have stopped, I could have looked at it a million times, I could have made adjustments. It was a predictable situation that I was getting hurt in because that's when I stopped caring. That's when I stopped being careful. That's when I stopped thinking about things because it's predictable. What could happen? And so I need to do something about this. I've said it before, but I really need to do something about this. I have to do better in 2025. In fact, I should make a New Year's resolution. I am not getting hurt in 2025, but how could I possibly accomplish that? Now, some hazard comes with what I do for a living, but as I already established, that's not what pays me. That's not what gets video views. If you look at the videos that are performed the best, it's usually like informational videos, like the dumbest bike law, a video on a bougie cargo bike. I am not hooking off of things in those videos. I'm not taking risks. I do those things because I'm sick in the head. I love those things. I'm passionate about it. All through my childhood, I would just jump off of bigger and bigger things. And now that I'm pushing 40, I still do the same thing. I still don't have that little thing inside me that tells me not to, even with 2 young kids, even as I'm a dad and so many people rely on me, I keep doing it. And part of the reason is I usually get away with it. I could go back on that picnic table and probably finish the video, but I'd have to explain what happened right here, and that's probably the only reason I'm not doing it. And so I need a constant reminder. Like I need something on my phone screen, on my wall, maybe into the camera lens that I'm looking at that says, don't get hurt in 2025. Actually, I've got a better one. So now I will get reminded of this. Getting hurt is selfish. And if I see that and it makes me think about what I'm doing, even for just another second, it could save an injury. Because at the end of the day, getting hurt is selfish. At least it is in my case because it affects other people. It affects my family, definitely affects my kids. And many of you have sent heartfelt messages about how I helped you get through the COVID pandemic with my videos. Then I get broke off and I'm not able to do it, or I can only do it in a lesser capacity. I have to be more creative and do things that don't involve getting broke off. And then in my personal life, I have to just think of this more often. If I'm gonna truly make a change for the better, I've got to reflect on some times where I didn't learn a thing, where I was doing something really risky and didn't really think about it. Like yesterday, I was riding the cheapest electric mountain bike on Amazon down a steep trail while it was raining. Now, we didn't know it was gonna rain that day and we went to Cayuga anyway. I could have come up with a different plan. I could have gone a little bit slower. I could have, for a second, considered that the front tire had like peach fuzz for tread. And I started skidding and I put my foot down and everything turned out okay, and then I went right back to what I was doing. I also recall taking a Brompton to a skate park and trying to 360 it over the box in the rain while my feet were wet, while the grips were wet. And I just said, wow, wouldn't it be great if I could pull this? And let me talk shop for a second. As a video creator, I can see when people click off of videos and when they're really engaged. You know what the most engaging part of that video was? When I said, let's see what people were saying on Reddit When I said that, people like really locked in because they wanted to know what I was saying about Reddit. Not when I was trying to 360 the box. So again, this is something that I keep doing for my own selfish reasons because I get a rush out of it. Not to try and get views, not to entertain you guys, because the data doesn't actually support that. What the data does support is that you want to be informed. You want to see something new and cool that you've never seen before. You want to learn how to repair your bike. You want to learn how to save money. You want to see the dumb things that other people spend money on. You want to go on adventures with bikes. You want to see funny banter between friends. And by focusing on those things instead of the things that I really want to do, I think I'll make better content. I'll be a better father to my children. I'll be a better husband. And maybe I have a better shot of still being mobile and able as I grow older. And look, sometimes I'm gonna have to walk a fine line. The other day when I was reviewing the Surly Moonlander, I was trying to get over this big tree that had fallen across the trail, and in my attempts to do that, I went over the handlebars. I even slipped up a couple of times, but you know what? I was on a proper mountain bike. I was out on a mountain bike trail with a helmet and knee pads on, and I was really planning before each attempt. I still should have probably taken the risk more seriously though. So to recap, I did an entire video about how dangerous coaster brakes can be because they can accidentally get engaged. And then I accidentally engaged a coaster brake while going off of the end of a picnic table with a Walmart beach cruiser. And somehow I didn't think of that. And so after all this time, after repeatedly failing to assess risk, I haven't learned anything. And so today I'm gonna start learning, I'm gonna start studying, I'm gonna start reminding myself. And so in 2025, I'm gonna try my very best to do better for me, for my family, and for you in assessing risk in a more intelligent way. Thanks for riding with me today, and I'll see you next time.